What if the moments when everything falls apart are actually your greatest teachers? Pema Chödrön, a Buddhist nun who lost everything, discovered that suffering isn't the problem, our resistance to it is. Today, I'm revealing how to transform your darkest moments into awakening. This will change how you face every difficulty. Welcome to Major Inspiration. I'm your host, and today we're exploring Pema Chödrön's profound teaching from her book, When Things Fall Apart. Pema teaches that life's challenges aren't obstacles, they're gateways to wisdom and compassion. By the end of this video, you'll understand how to work with difficulty instead of running from it, and how groundlessness can actually set you free. Who is Pema Chödrön? Pema Chödrön was born Deirdre Bloomfield Brown in New York in 1936. She lived an ordinary life, married, had children, taught school. Then her husband suddenly left her for another woman. Pema was devastated. Her world collapsed. In that collapse, she found Buddhism. She became a student of Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche and eventually became a Buddhist nun, one of the first American women to be fully ordained in the Tibetan tradition. She didn't run from her pain. She used it. She sat with it. She learned from it. That experience of devastation became her greatest teaching. Now, as a teacher and author, Pema is known for her honest, accessible approach to Buddhist wisdom. She doesn't sugarcoat difficulty. She doesn't promise that life will be easy. Instead, she teaches life will bring suffering, but suffering can wake you up if you let it. The core teaching: impermanence and groundlessness. Pema's central message is about impermanence. Everything changes. Nothing is solid. Nothing lasts. We know this intellectually, but we live as if things should be permanent. We want security. We want certainty. We want solid ground under our feet. Pema says there is no solid ground. There never was. Life is fundamentally groundless, and our suffering comes from trying to stand on ground that doesn't exist. When things fall apart, when you lose your job, your relationship ends, your health fails, you feel the groundlessness. And it's terrifying. So you scramble to find new ground, a new relationship, a new identity, a new security. But Pema teaches, what if you stopped scrambling? What if you relaxed into the groundlessness? She says, this is where freedom lives. When you stop demanding that life be solid and predictable, you stop suffering from its constant change. You start flowing with it instead of fighting it. Pema writes, things falling apart is a kind of testing and also a kind of healing. Working with difficult emotions. So how do you actually work with suffering? Pema teaches a practice she calls leaning into the sharp points. Most people, when they feel pain, emotional or physical, they distract themselves. They numb, they run, they avoid. Pema says, don't run. Stay. Feel it. She teaches a meditation practice called Tonglen, breathing in suffering and breathing out compassion. When you're in pain, instead of pushing it away, you breathe it in, you feel it fully. Then you breathe out relief, peace, compassion. This seems backwards. Why would you breathe in suffering? Pema explains. Because resistance to pain causes more pain. When you're willing to feel it, you discover it's not as solid as you thought. It's energy. It moves. It changes. And by breathing it in, you're also breathing in the suffering of all beings who feel what you feel. You're no longer alone in it. You're connected. Then you breathe out compassion for yourself and for everyone suffering. This practice transforms pain from something that isolates you into something that connects you. The wisdom of no escape. Pema has another powerful teaching, the wisdom of no escape. She says we're constantly trying to escape from discomfort. We escape into food, entertainment, work, relationships, spiritual practices, anything to avoid feeling what we're feeling. But Pema teaches there is no escape. Life includes difficulty. It includes loss. It includes pain. The only way out is through. She tells a story about a Tibetan teaching where a warrior is given a poison arrow. The warrior doesn't try to remove the arrow. Instead, they lick the poison. This is the practice. You don't avoid your poison. You turn toward it. You get intimate with it, not because you enjoy suffering, but because running from it gives it more power. When you face it directly, you discover it's just experience, just sensation, just thoughts and feelings, and you're bigger than all of it. Pema writes, to stay with that shakiness, to stay with a broken heart, with a rumbling stomach, with the feeling of hopelessness and wanting to get revenge, that is the path of true awakening. Cultivating compassion through difficulty. Here's where Pema's teaching becomes truly transformative. She says difficulty is what opens your heart. When everything is going well, it's easy to be compassionate to people who are like you, but when you're suffering, you connect with the suffering of all beings. You understand what it means to hurt, to struggle, to feel lost, and that understanding becomes compassion. Pema teaches your personal suffering is the doorway to universal compassion. When your heart breaks, it breaks open. And through that opening, you can finally feel others. You can help others. Not from a place of superiority, I'm fixing you, but from shared humanity. I know what it's like to hurt. She says, compassion is not a relationship between the healer and the wounded. It's a relationship between equals. Your pain doesn't make you broken. It makes you human. And when you embrace that humanity in yourself, you can embrace it in everyone. Pema Chödrön's teaching is a radical acceptance of life as it is messy, uncertain, painful, beautiful. When things fall apart, they're not falling apart. They're falling open, opening you to wisdom, opening you to compassion, opening you to the groundless freedom that was always here. Start today. When difficulty arises, don't run, stay. Breathe it in. Feel it. Let it crack you open. And trust that you're being taught something essential. If this resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more transformative wisdom. Comment below. What's falling apart in your life right now, and what is it teaching you? I'll see you in the next one. Until then, remember, groundlessness is not the problem. Resisting groundlessness is. Let go. Fall. You might just discover you can fly.